The Flamingo and the Bee, the brave adventure. In a lush wetland filled with shimmering pools and tall reeds, a graceful flamingo named Sarah lived among her flock. She was known for her vibrant pink feathers and elegant stance. Nearby, in a bustling hive nestled within a wildflower meadow, a tiny bee named Cedric buzzed with energy. Cedric was a diligent worker, always collecting nectar and helping his hive thrive. Though they lived in different worlds, Sarah and Cedric had become unlikely friends. One sunny morning, Sarah was wading through the water, practicing her balance on one leg, when she heard the familiar hum of Cedric's wings. "Good morning, Sarah." Cedric buzzed as he landed delicately on a reed. "You look as graceful as ever." "And you look as busy as always, Cedric," Sarah replied with a warm smile. "What brings you here today?" Cedric's wings fluttered nervously. "Well, I came to see you because I need your help. There's a patch of rare flowers deep in the wetlands, and their nectar is very important for my hive. But the path to get there is tricky, and honestly I'm a little scared to go alone." Sarah tilted her head. "Scared? What's so scary about it?" "There's a dark grove along the way," Cedric explained. "It's full of thick trees and shadows, and I've heard stories about strange sounds coming from there. I know it's silly, but I can't help feeling nervous." Sarah nodded thoughtfully. "It's not silly at all, Cedric. Everyone feels scared sometimes. But I'll go with you. We'll face it together." Cedric's wings buzzed with relief. "Thank you, Sarah. I feel braver already knowing you'll be there." The two friends set off, with Sarah leading the way through the wetlands. The air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the gentle rustle of reeds swaying in the breeze. As they walked, Cedric marveled at how confident Sarah seemed. "You're so calm, Sarah," Cedric said. "Aren't you afraid of anything?" Sarah chuckled softly. "Of course I am. But I've learned that being brave doesn't mean you're never scared. It means you keep going, even when you are." Cedric pondered this as they approached the dark grove. The bright sunlight faded into dim shadows, and the air grew cooler. The thick trees loomed overhead, their branches twisting like reaching arms. Cedric hovered closer to Sarah, his small wings trembling. "Here we are," Sarah said gently. "Remember, Cedric, we're in this together." As they ventured into the grove, an eerie sound echoed through the trees, a low rustling followed by a soft hoot. Cedric's eyes widened, and he clung to a nearby leaf. "What was that?" he whispered. Sarah looked around calmly. "It's just an owl," she said. "They make those sounds at night, but sometimes you can hear them during the day. Let's keep going." Cedric nodded, feeling a little braver with Sarah by his side. They continued deeper into the grove, stepping over tangled roots and ducking under low branches. Every so often, a new sound would startle Cedric, a crackling twig, a distant croak, but Sarah reassured him each time. Finally, they emerged from the grove into a sunlit clearing. Before them was the patch of rare flowers Cedric had mentioned. Their bright orange petals glowed like tiny lanterns, and the air was sweet with their nectar. "We made it!" Cedric exclaimed, his wings buzzing with excitement. "Thank you, Sarah. I couldn't have done it without you." Sarah smiled. "You did more than you realize, Cedric. You faced your fears and kept going, even when you were scared. That's real courage." Cedric nodded thoughtfully. "I guess you're right. I was so focused on being afraid that I didn't notice how much braver I was becoming." As Cedric collected nectar from the flowers, Sarah stood nearby, admiring the beauty of the clearing. When Cedric finished, they started their journey back through the grove. This time, Cedric felt less afraid. The shadows didn't seem as dark, and the sounds didn't seem as scary. When they finally returned to the wetland, Cedric looked up at Sarah with gratitude. "Thank you for teaching me about courage, Sarah. I'll remember this adventure whenever I feel scared." "And I'll remember your bravery, Cedric," Sarah replied. "You reminded me that even the smallest among us can be the strongest when we face our fears." As the sun set over the wetlands, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Sarah and Cedric said their goodbyes. Cedric flew back to his hive, his heart full of pride, while Sarah returned to her flock, her steps light with joy. From that day on, whenever Cedric faced a challenge, he thought of the dark grove and the courage he found there. And Sarah, too, carried the memory of their adventure, knowing that true bravery often begins with a small, fluttering step forward. The end.